to that land? Don't you want to go to that land? Don't you want to go to that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound? Don't you want to go to that land? Don't you want to go to that land? Don't you want to go to that land where I'm bound? Good morning again. Good morning. We see it's another blessed day because we are here. He allowed us to do that. It's just been whatever went on this week. We are still here and we're still blessed. Because none of us are looking down on each other. So that's our real blessing when you can come from one Sunday to the next Sunday. As we begin to get in this lesson today, I decided I'd do a little math and just a little history. Well, what I'm talking about, we have 66 books in the Bible, 39 in the Old Testament, 27 in the New Testament. So I want to go back. And before I go back, I want to thank Miss Tyler. She's out at the moment because I went all the way back to January. That's all. The third Sunday in January, we started with the second book of Moses, which was Exodus. Now look, in between the third Sunday and where we are today, the last book of the Bible. So I thought since this is the last book of the Bible, once we finish, we all ready to go to heaven. Because we have covered so much. I don't see no head bow on that, so I guess we just want to stay right on along, right? Yeah. When we get right, we preparing ourselves to get there. But if you like me, you know her to get there. Okay, that's good enough. Now, what I'm saying that we cover all this in between those books there. Start from the third Sunday, from the second book to the day we cover the last book, the last chapter in the last book. Isn't that something? The book of Revelation. We started out with Exodus, and here we are in the last book of the Bible, Revelation. As I began to put my numbers together, and what I looked at, it says we had covered 5 books of the Old Testament, 6 books of the New Testament, and today we ended with the last book of the New Testament. So what came to my mind, we started out with Moses and the children of Israel. And now, remember when they got to the promised land, it says once they got there, and Joshua kept there, it was milk and honey in the promised land. So now, since we have been to the promised land, now we get into that new land, and what will we have? 12 fruit trees with all kinds of fruit. Not the milk and honey, but the 12 fruit trees that we're looking at. Now, if you know, John gave us a beautiful picture of a place that we want to go. Now, what are we doing? We are preparing ourselves to get to that place. He gave us all kinds of options to get there. But it's up to us to get there. Back there, they saw the promised land. Back here, John told us about the promised land. When we look at that promised land, he told us how beautiful this place was, that heaven. The heaven is the place that I want to be. But I don't want to get there too soon. I still want to hang around here a little longer, if it's possible to hang around here. Because we want to get there when we get there. Now, when you think about what John was saying, and look at our lesson today, and the subject said, no substitute. Isn't that something? What are you talking about, no substitute? What is that? Something you got to keep yourself? What is it?
No equal.
No equal? You know, he just mentioned that word equal. I think when you get to some kind of sugar, we got the old sugar, but now they give you that equal, they give you that second, they give you that substitute. But what they say here, no substitute. And you know, when I was in school system, and the teachers, I had to call in a substitute. And you know, but they just said what? There would be no substitute. What are you talking about? No substitute for what? For heaven. And no substitute for the one who created and made that. Who is that? God. There's no substitute. You know, we can get some stuff and fill in, and that'll do for a substitute. But I found out that a substitute is never like the real thing. I found out that a substitute teacher was never like a real teacher. Because most of them, all they did was just kept the children quiet. But see, right here, we're talking about no substitute. So it's don't really matter. So what we're saying, there is only one God. You can't substitute him. But some people have. Because they substitute him with who? Oh, Satan. They substitute him. But our lesson tells us, John said, there is no substitute. That means there's no way around. Whatever it is, you got to go through God. Deacon said, you got to go through God. There's no substitute. We can always serve for something. Right here, John tells us this. And you know, as John told us about this in his last book, I like it. This is the last book, the book of Revelation. And the book of Revelation said it means to reveal. What did John reveal it to us? He revealed it to us about heaven. Now we talk about heaven. John gave about heaven. And sometimes I wonder when people say, will you save a seat for me? Don't know where they're going. But the problem on that, if I live right here, I don't want you to save me a seat because I already know I got a seat. Doesn't make sense. You heard people say, save a seat for me. And then another thing that bothers me, when people say, when I in heaven, I'm going to tell Jesus all about it. Wait a minute. You're going to tell Jesus what to do? Nothing. Because in this old body, that's when you're going to tell Jesus. In that new body, you don't even want to hear what you got to say. So you don't have to worry about tell Jesus. You know, we sing them on songs, when you look at it, it really don't make no sense. I'm going to tell Jesus all about it. And I think Jesus don't want no tattletale. What you think about it? You don't want nobody tattletale. You leaving all that in what? In this old body. In this new body, we don't need that. You don't have to save a seat for me. You don't have to tell Jesus about how you treat me. What you think? Jesus already know that. You see, after the brothers, he know how they treat you. So when you get there, all you want, the son said, walk around heaven all day. That's all you need to do. And sit there and listen to God. You don't have to go tell somebody, I'm going to tell Jesus how you treat me. Save a seat for me. I look at all them songs, when you go through them, they make no sense. But what do? They sound good. Whoever written them songs, I don't think they got the jump. Because if they had got the jump, they would have saw none of that was there. But what we do, we jumps and shout on because they said, save a seat for me. When I get there, I'm going to tell them all about my trouble. You already know your trouble when you get there. This new place, you don't worry about that there. Now, as we get into this lesson here, and I thought this was a good lesson, we see what we got here. It said judgment and reward. So you're going to be judged, and you're going to get your reward. Now, when does the judgment come? The judgment comes when you stand before him, and your name is not written in the book of life. Your name is not written in the book of life. And I hear people say, you're going to say, sir. Well, no, down here you're sir. But when you get there, you want to see your name. Because it says what? Your name will be written in the book of life. If your name is not written in that book of life, you're going to be standing on the outside looking in. But your name needs to be in that life. Looking at it. Looking at us having a good time there. Then it says judgment and reward. And we begin with the first thing. Read it. What does it tell us?
Sorry.
All right.
And he said unto me, seal not the sayings of the prophecy of this book, for the time is at hand.
Look what he said. Now, who is this talking to John? Not yet, Paul. This is, and he said, talking. He's still talking about the angel. The angel telling them that. He said what? He said, seal not the saying of the prophecy of this book. Look at that word. You know, I have a problem when somebody look at that word where I say, this book. Later on, we're going to understand what they're saying. We say, this book. For the time is at hand. He telling them to seal this in. Now, what I did, I went back to Daniel, and he told Daniel to do what? He told Daniel to seal. He told Daniel to seal because back then, Daniel didn't understand what he was telling them. When he told Daniel to seal it, Daniel, you know, they were going to do, they had some problems with Babylon. So what they was doing, they was running from them, being in exile. Now what he did, he gave this prophet to Daniel, and Daniel didn't know what he was talking about. When Daniel got there, he told him what? Seal it. Now right here, he's going to tell him what? Open the book. Why do you think that? He told him open the book. More to tell? Think about Daniel. What book was Daniel in? The Old Testament. And at that time, who had made us arrive? Jesus. So what he said? Don't tell them, David. They wouldn't even understand what he talked about. He said, what you do? When Daniel got to, I want you to sit it. But now, he telling him what? Open up. Why? Because he talked to us. He wanted to own that book down. Don't sit it this time. Read it. What the next chapter?
He that is unjust, let him be unjust still, and he which is filthy, let him be filthy still, and he that is righteous, let him be righteous still, and he that is holy, let him be holy still.
He that is unjust, let him stay unjust. He that is filthy, let him stay filthy. So what is that? He said that you already doing wrong, and you don't want to do right. What you need to do? Continue to do wrong. When you're doing your filthy stuff, and you don't want to come to Christ, let's continue to do wrong. I'm not going to beg you to come. I like Christ. He don't beg nobody anything. He give you the mind and let you come on your own. We're going to read about this word here. But if you're doing something wrong in this old flourish, and you love what you're doing in this old flourish, what should you do? Keep doing it. If you're doing what's right in this old flourish, what should you do? Keep doing it. He said, keep on doing what you're doing. If you don't like me, keep on hating me. If you love me, keep on loving me. If you have all them kind of fail, keep on having them fail. Don't stop doing what you're doing. Whatever makes you feel good, you keep doing it. So don't stop. But I know he said, but if you do, they aren't going to tell us what to do, because he's not begging you. He's not making you. He just said, whatever you do, you keep doing that same thing you're doing. If you want the midnight creepers, what do? Keep on creeping at midnight. If you want an early day rider, what do? Keep on early day riding. Whatever you're doing, whether you love it, keep on doing it. But whatever you're doing is right, keep on doing it. But they tell me, when they talking about me, all I need to do is what? Pray on. That's all I said. Pray on my child. Let's keep on praying. When they cursing you, just keep on praying. Because if you're doing it, don't stop doing what you're doing. Whatever you're doing, if it makes you feel good, keep on doing it. And read what the nation tells us.
And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every man according as his work shall be.
Now look what he said there. He said, and behold, now who's talking? This is Jesus said, and behold what? I come quickly. What do that word mean? Come quickly. Fast. What do that fast mean? Hurry. What do that hurry mean? We're going to get it. Soon. What does soon mean? Anytime. But it means he can come where? Right now. Anytime. Because he said he's coming what? Quickly. He said, let you know that he's coming. He didn't tell you when. Because you know, when I was younger, I keep going there. They always told me the world will come to an end in 1999. That was in 1970 I heard that. How many people heard that? They heard that. Yeah, we all heard that. So in 1999, think what happened. In 1999, remember that people went to Walmart, got all the water goods, they bought all the grocery goods. Okay, got the money out the bank. Sheriff, they kept your bank this time, Sheriff. Because what they get ready to do, the world was coming to an end. Now, you tell me this here. If the world comes to an end, why are you taking your wallet? If the world comes to an end, why you carry your money? Don't need it. But they said, what? The world comes to an end 1999, 12 o'clock 1999. Do you know I sit up waiting at 12 o'clock 1999? 1999. Lord is happening. And you know, no, that's true. And I do that too. Cause what? No man. If it says no man, doesn't let it do us. But what we got? We're going to tell about that about these people. I already said 1999. When I was a little boy, yeah, war going to come to end. Little boy scared us in 1999. People say things. Say so, military. Oh, that song. 1999. Tooth out. Get all your money out. Get all your water out. So you gonna take all that with you? No. But what happened? We get that in our mind, and just like him tell us. I like what he tell us. And we all feel with that stuff there. But here come here. He says, and behold, I come quickly, and my rewards with me. Now he brings his rewards. When I read about the rewards that he gonna bring with him, I thought about the rewards that we have down here. What are some of the rewards that we have here? You have your health, you have your strength. That's one of your main rewards you have down here. If you got health, if you got strength, you can accomplish a lot of things. That's some rewards. Some rewards we have 2 eyes. We can see. We have our hands. We have our legs that we can walk. Those are some of the rewards that we have here. But when he comes, he's going to bring that reward for the one who earned those rewards. Now, when you said that rewards, and I read about those rewards, it says in the Bible, there are 5 rewards that he's talking about, which was the crown. Have you heard people say, when I get to heaven, I'm going to wear my crown? And I sure read about that. It's right. Whenever you get to heaven, he brings his crown. You can wear your crown when you get there. But the catch of that thing is that you got to get there in order to wear that crown. Because when he comes back and brings his crown, he's going to put a crown on you. And here's some of the crown it says. The first crown you have is a crown of life. That's eternal, to be faithful. That's one crown. Then the next one, he says, the incorruptible crown. The one who was self-denied. You know, I'm doing for other people, and that's denial myself. That's the second crown he brings. Look at the crown he brings. Now, this is Jesus bringing these crowns for us. And then the third one, he said, the crown of righteousness. One that's finished the race. A lot of people stop, but what happened? They don't finish. They never cross the finish line. What is it? They retired from it. So he brings a crown for the ones that do the race. And then we have the fourth crown, the crown of glory. That's the one who we said unselfish, love being a good example. What is an unselfish person? Love being a good example. I can give one example of that. I know some people right now. They put everybody else before themselves. Do you remember that? I know one who said right now, I see. His wife died, she always told him, well, you just don't try to know. Who was that? I always told him that. Run line. So what he do, he put other folks before himself. What does that? That means that's a crown. When Christ comes back, he brings a crown. And then, you know, a lot of us do that. I think Brother Ransom have done some things like that. Everybody who right have put somebody else before himself. But what happened? He said, Brother, he ain't going to Brother. Because every Wednesday night, Brother bring me a paper. Yeah. Now, you don't have to do that, but you do. So what we doing? You putting somebody else before yourself. So that's a crown waiting on you, and he's going to bring you rewards. You know, I can talk to people and go to folks, do things, and they put their me before them. They put their self behind. What's that? That's that crown you waiting on. And then here's the other crown he said. The next crown we're going to have a crown of rejoicing. Now here comes that crown of rejoicing. A crown of rejoicing is the one who get out and spread God's word. Who are you talking about? First, I'm talking about the preachers. Then we with the deacons. Then we with the choir. Then with yourself. When you tell somebody about God, and you bring somebody in about God, that's a crown we're going to do. So those are the 5 crowns that Christ will bring with him. Now, I don't have to get all 5 of them. Just give me one. That's all you want to do, one. Just give me one crown. He bringing all those rewards. Now, I tell you, that's a good reward. When Christ bringing those rewards, the crown of righteousness coming in, that's all right. Do what Christ asked you to do, and he got the rewards and he bring it with him. Now we say we're speaking of Christ. And then, what the next one tell us?
I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last.
Now, the reason John says Alpha and Omega, because he was speaking to the Greek folks, but then he comes and said what? I am the beginning. Everybody else knows what he's talking about. God is the beginning, and God is the end. So what's in between? Nothing. There's nothing in between. That's what John was speaking right there. He said, I am the Alpha, I am the Omega, I am the beginning, and I am the end. Now, you know, John was letting us know. Get our house in divine order. He is coming back. When he's coming back? Soon. When it's soon, we don't know. But get your house in order. And the other question. The question follow that says, how does the Savior of the Father Church challenge your current lifestyle as a believer? What about the community of faith, corporate lifestyle? Now, for what we've been reading, we have been from Exodus to where we're at now. How does this challenge you? What's the challenge you? What challenge? Get your house in order. And we started in Exodus and go where we are right now. And everything that tells us John in that book, get your house in divine community of faith that do. If we look, it can be the church goal. But what it said, if we are the light of the world, what are we supposed to do? Shine. Let your little light shine. If we let our little light shine, so the world can see, we are not part of the world. We're in this world, but we're not part of this world. So as a Christian community, we got to let people see we're going to do what? Stand there. I don't care how hard things get. I don't care how what people do. What are we supposed to do as Christians? Stand there. We got to take a stand. We can't do what they do. We don't want to be like them because we are different from the world. So when you do that as a Christian community, community means what? Everybody. Just think about it. If your little light shine, that one person can see your little light. Do you know you can make a difference? And each one of us would just make one person's life change. That one person changed another life person. And look how that thing would trickle down, and what would happen then? We would have a better place. But what do? We go and get into the world. Whatever the world do, we do. What is it? Cut your lights out and go in the world. How do they go in the world? The world says it's good to let your pants hang out you. What do you see Christian folk do? Pants are hanging out for them. Why? Because that's what the world does. But what am I? If I'm the light of the world, my pants should be up on me. If I'm the light of the world, and the world people are doing these things here, you should do what they do. And the world people out here cursing and fighting, you don't want to be a part of that cursing and fighting. If the world people say it's all right to have one on this side, one on this side, and one in the middle, it's all right to do that. You want to do that because what? You are the light of the world. So if you're the light of the world, you're going to let the world people see what's happening, and that will change the community. But what we want to do, we want to lean in. Isn't that something? I want to lean in. But that's not what John tells us to do. And then, anybody else got something to say? Yes, ma'am, Ms. Tracy.
Started out trying to do it on his own, and then he found out that was the reason he started working with other people and that didn't work. So Wednesday, when I came to the guy's house, I see him, he got his wall.
You see what happened? What is that? God is a good God. When you trying to figure it out, God has already solved it for you. But our problem, we want to take charge. Let God work it out. When you let God work it out, it's always going to fit in place. But we want to take charge and try to work it out ourselves. It never happens. The second one we got here says, blessing and journey. Look at that. Blessing and journey. Both of them together. You mean tell me I'm going to get a blessing and then I'm going to be journey? That's what they'll do? All right, a blessing and a journey. When we look at that blessing and journey, and really, what does it tell us about that?
Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they might have right to the tree of life and may enter in through the gates into the city.
Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they, look at that word, that they may have right to the tree of life. What does it say? The key word, you got to do what? Do his commandment in order to have a right to the tree of life. And then when I went back and looked at that word blessed, Matthew, the 5th chapter, tells us about the 9 blessings. Here we are in the end of the book, and Revelation tells us about 7 more blessings. Look, we have 9 blessings again. Then you come right here in the end and says you about 7 blessings. It always tells us to bless what do right. And then if you bless and do what right, keep his command, you have a right to the tree of life. What is the tree of life? That tree of life we spoke about last week, that's that flood, that tree, that brother keep going through that. You have a right to be there. But what you got to do, you got to do your work here. You got to keep what? His commandments. And I told you, that they can get those 10 commandments into 2 commandments. And you can't keep the 2 commandments. What are the 2 commandments? 1, love God. And 2, love thy neighbor. So what are you talking about? If you love God, we go back. What are you going to do? Love everybody. If you love God, you're not going to murder nobody. You know the 10 commandments and murder, do not murder. If you love God, you're not going to steal. You know that 10 commandments? Why is it stealing? If you can love God, you're not going to commit adultery. That's in that 10 commandments when they condense it to 2. And then you do all that. I'm going to love my neighbor. Who is my neighbor? Everybody is my neighbor. Some people get it all wrong. My neighbor, so that. No. If you are a Christian and you are a child of God, it says, love thy neighbor. What's the key word to that? Love. How do you know? Because he gave his only begotten son. What was that? That was love. You can't beat that love. He gave all that he had, and that was Jesus. So when he said love, you keep those commandments. Look what it said. If you keep those commandments, you have a right to the tree of life. What it said? You have the right. I like that. Everybody. So that means if I do what's right, I have a right to the tree of life. What is that tree of life? Eternal. I'm not looking for down here. I'm looking for the eternal life. But John said, I'm looking for eternal life. When do you get that? When you do right down here. When he comes back again, do you have a chance to get right? Not that time. When the time was to get right? Right now. Because when he comes back, it's going to be what? The judgment time. So if you don't get your house in divine order right now, you can't wait to get there. How do you know? Watch this rich man tell that. Go back and tell what? Tell his brothers. But it was too late. You don't have another chance. This time here, he's coming back for a church without a what? Spot or ring. So you got all the time to get your fingers out right now. You can't wait because you can't say, God, give you another chance. No chance. You got to get it right here. That's what we talk about right when you say that right here. And read it. What we got on the next one?
For without our dogs and sorcerers and whoremongers and murderers and our idolaters and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie.
Look right there. So without our, what's the first word he said? Dogs.
Yeah.
And a man always want to be a big dog. Call me a big dog. When I was growing up, men loved to be a big dog. But what this tell us about this then? Big dogs are in the wrong place.
Yeah.
If you are a big dog, you're heading for the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Because all through the Bible, I read about dogs, it never associates dogs with nothing good. What does it associate dog with? Evil. Every time you read something about evil, that's a dog. So if you associate with dog, that means you are beware of the dogs. Beware of those dogs. What's a dog? A dog sometimes behind the church. They are dressed in what kind of clothes are? Sheep clothes. Those are some of the dogs we got. What are some of the dogs? The dogs are your false prophets. Those are dogs that come telling you. The false prophet tell you about what God said and it's not even there. Those are false prophets. What it say? Beware of those dogs. And then look how he associates the dogs. But that takes my mind back to the 5th Sunday in May. When Kalita taught that lesson, those things down to us, and here we are now. Same thing. Some of the same people that she broke down to us, we got them right here. Those people that worship our gods, those people that worship witchcraft.
Yeah.
It said all of those are what kind of spirit? Evil spirit. And who is associated with evil spirit? The devil and what? The dogs.
Yeah.
Beware of the dogs.
Right.
Watch them dogs. That's some say. Watch them dogs.
Yeah.
Y'all hear that song? I like that song though. You tell about all them dogs. And Jesus said, food. We got some dogs right here in the church. Right? Watch them dogs. The pit bull. But you know the thing said about dogs. You can raise a dog real good. You can treat them good,
Uh-huh.
but if that dog get out a few days,
Yeah.
that same dog come back to fight.
Yeah.
Why is that? That's the spirit of a dog now.
Yeah.
A dog got the blind spirit. So what it says, beware
Beware.
of those dogs. When you tell your dog, beware. Don't let that spirit get over you. That's an evil spirit here. And that evil spirit associates with things she just told us. Some of those things. Read them. What we got to think?
I, Jesus, have sent mine angel to testify unto you these things in the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David and the bright and morning star.
Look what you're talking about. Jesus said, I sent it.
Yeah.
Now he tells, I sent my angel. Now when he sent the angel, he tells what? Testify. I want you to testify because everything I told you to tell them is what? Is the truth. I didn't say that. John didn't say that. He said, Jesus told John, said, write these things down. And you tell them that everything that I told you to write is the truth. God is the truth. He's not a liar. God is nothing but truth. So he told John to write these things down. Now, he said, unto the churches. We said, John was writing to the 7 churches. And when you look around in the whole United States, you can find one of those churches. Every church that you go to, you can find one of those 7 churches. John written that down to the 7 churches. And all the churches will come out and look at those 7 churches. Look and see what it says. He tells them to write this, John. Now, not only I want you to write it, but I want you to tell them, John. Now, what else I want you to tell them, John? Tell them of David. Now, that kind of shook me up there. And the
Right.
now, what was Jesus saying he's the offspring of David? How did that come about? I am the offspring of David. What was he telling them? I know somebody know what he said. I'm the offspring of David. How is Jesus the offspring of David? Go back to the genealogy. How he's the offspring of David. Let's see. When you go back to the genealogy, David and Mary and Joseph, all was kinfolks. When you come down that line there, and Jesus came through that line. Who did Jesus come through? He came through that prostitute first. He come from that line of folks. He come on down there, and Joseph and Mary would come from 2 brothers. They still kinfolk. He come on down that line, and that's why Jesus said, I am the offspring of David. He come down the line, the offspring of him. And then he said, not only am I the offspring of David, but what? I was here before David here. John gonna tell us about that there. I'm the offspring, and I was here before him. I came here. How was that? Because when he came here and put him in buried out the flesh. That's how he became David through the flesh. But what we said, Jesus was 100% man, and he was 100% God. So what is it? The man part, he came through David. That makes him be the offspring. When you check that genealogy, come on down, that makes him be the offspring there, coming from David. And then he said, I am the bright and what? Morning star. Can you beat that? The bright and morning star. You know, if you look at the morning time to the east, you can see that little starry setting planet over there. You see the first thing you see before day, you see that little